Today on the slide, we're blessed to have as a guest the artist Vehriion, new artist, also known as Dante Redwood. But more importantly, he represents our future. He represents the youth, 27-year-old young man. What we look forward to learning today is what are some of the things that he experienced in his past that laid a foundation for him to be successful? How is being a member of the millennial generation presently impacting his reality? And also, what are some of those things that they need in order to have a successful future? And what can we provide them with in order to be able to establish successful outcomes for them as they move into this next generation or this next iteration of time? So join me, welcome, and we look forward to enjoying Mr. Dante Redwood on the slide. Hey, I'm over here completely asleep, right? Hey, I'm over here real spill. I'm over here listening to a song. I'm on 75 headed to Atlanta, listening to Lil Papa saying, and we slide on 95. I promise you, you know what I'm saying? So welcome back to the slide with Tavares Bethel. We have the pleasure of having with us today Mr. Dante Redwood. Mr. Dante Redwood is a native of Cleveland, Ohio. We're blessed to have him in the city of Jacksonville as he launches his career as an artist, or just a phenomenal young man. I'm gonna allow him to tell us a little bit about himself. I just want to say thank you for coming and spending some time with us today, because there's a couple of things that we want to discuss, and I think that when you bring in the youth or somebody who represents the youth, then it gives us the best opportunity to acquire information that'll give us the ability to make decisions as we move forward. So without any further ado, please, Dante, introduce. Who are you? Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, man, I'm Dante Redwood. I go by Vehriion as an artist. Um, 27 years old, man. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Uh, Native of North Ridgeville, Ohio, so represent to the Ville for real. Um, I want to say I went to college at Mercyhurst University, and there I played football for 4 years, 4 year captain there, so that was huge. All American, so pretty much all everything as a DB and a returner, right? And so my dream growing up, I'm like, man, I gotta get to the league. You ask myself, I was third, fourth grade. Hey, what am I doing when I'm older, man? I'm going to the league. I'm going to be an NFL player, right? So I was fortunately blessed enough to go to the Arizona Cardinals as a rookie, like mini camp tryout player. Didn't make it there, and it was funny because when draft day came around, I was like, damn, this boy Byron Murphy got picked first. I think he's first overall pick in the second round. So pick number 33. Me and him are exact same players. So I'm like, man, this should have wrap. I already gave my agent a list of of teams that I want to go to. At the top was Arizona. I'm like, man, I need that warm weather. I need that warm weather. And number two was the Jets, and number three was the Patriots. But growing up, I couldn't stand Tom Brady, man. He was always beating my Jaguars. So I couldn't really fuck with him like that.
Yeah.
I like he was just beating our ass, and he wasn't really saying shit about it. So I'm like, man, forget him. So that was low key why I put them at number three. Really, they should have been number two. So draft day comes around, and seventh round comes by. My agent texts me, hey, you may have a chance of getting picked here. If not, look for priority free agent status, and we'll go from there. I'm like, all right, bet. So an hour after the draft goes by, I'm like, bro, what the fuck? I ain't even got no call, no text, no nothing. I'm texting my agent, what's the word? What's the word? No response. So another hour goes by. I look at my pops and my nephew. I'm like, hey, y'all hungry? This point, I ain't even ate no shit. Like, we was going to celebrate, but ain't have no chance to eat. And I ain't really want to be around, like, my family, nothing. Like, one of the most disappointing times of my life. So we go to Arby's down the road. I get my little meal or whatever. I'm like 2 bites in. My phone started ringing. It's Zach Canny, Arizona Cardinals. That's who the scout was. So he's like, hey, Dante, we're going to bring you on board for camp. I'm like, fuck it. It's great. I'm sitting there at Arby's in Erie, PA with my nephew and my pops when I get the most important phone call of my life. This shit just absolutely blew my mind. So when I got back, I couldn't even – I tried to tell my dad, hey, don't let nobody know, because at this point they're expecting me to be disappointed as hell. So I walk in. I'm low-key grinning. I was grinning ear to ear for real. And they're like, what happened? What happened? I'm like, man, I'm going to be an Arizona Cardinal. That shit was tough. So we got the hat and everything, put it on. And I just spent that next month grinding until I went to camp. Like, you didn't see me drinking or nothing. I already didn't smoke. Shit. So now it was just time to really lock in.
So what was it like managing the emotions for you during that time period?
It's tough, man, because it's really a dog-eat-dog world. You got to think when you're going in as a rookie. So I was 22 years old at the time. When you're going in to take another man's job. So you're going to take the food that he's putting on his plate at the end of the day. But it's like fuck it. I want to put some more food on my plate. I don't want that little Walmart steak, bro. I want that Japanese Wagyu steak. That's the shit that I'm really striving for.
Hey, so what produced it though? So what type of environment gave birth to an individual that could succeed in high school, succeed in college, have opportunity to get a opportunity that maybe 1% of the people on the face of the earth ever have opportunity to experience in their life? What was it like? What environment produced that?
You know, I was blessed enough to have both of my parents in my life growing up, and they were always there the entire time. And I swear to God, it was my pops, man. That boy Jamaican, he's from Port Antonio, Jamaica. Just got back from there like a week ago. And literally, I want to say I was probably a few weeks old. That man had me doing sit-ups in the crib. Literally doing sit-ups in the crib. He would hold my feet. My mom or somebody would hold applesauce or whatever, and I would have to come up to get that food. It was craziest shit ever. So I naturally already had like a six-pack. Shit blew my mind. And then it was that drive that I got to be greater than my dad. My dad told me he was a professional boxer, man. He tried out for the U.S. Olympic team for soccer. He played cricket till he was 40-something years old. Like that's real as fuck. I didn't beat that man in a race till I was 15, 16 years old. And I was one of the fastest kids in the area in Northeast Ohio. And Northeast Ohio produced dudes. You know, so just like trying to just aim for that kind of greatness, and then realizing that I'm not the best anymore, and that what it's going to take to get to that level is just that extra shit that nobody else is doing. Yeah, I could have been inside playing the game, because that's what was big growing up for my generation. Was technology. They was coming out with a new thing every day. All right, it was original Xbox. Then you got the Game Boy Advance SP, you got the Nintendo, you got the Wii that came out. Like all this shit was coming out, but I was fucking grinding because my pops, hey man, let's go outside, let's play some catch. Show me your hands. Boom. He said drop past 10 push-ups. Me and my brother, we wasn't dropping shit. I know for a fact we had the best hands in the state of Ohio because of what that man instilled in us and the level of excellence that he demanded out of us.
You know, as an artist, what most intrigues me about your music is the way that you refer to family, right? I think that the way that you mention and reverence family in your work is inspiring, and understanding the power of music. If those type of seeds can be planted, I think it gives us the opportunity to have a better opportunity to have better families, right? Because somebody has to provide that messaging. What is it about family that drives you?
Man, it's everything. It's the root of which you came up, you know? When you started in diapers, you couldn't look out for yourself, or you a fucking child. You an infant, you a toddler. You don't know how to provide for yourself. You don't know how to do anything about the world. You don't know the world. So they're the ones that teach you the world. And if they're there constantly supporting you, helping you, doing what they need to do to make you grow and succeed, and if you got the whole structure there, the only way to like live your life is to be great for real. And that's what it really came out to be.
Did your parents dictate to you your decisions, or did they give you options? Did they give you choices? What was that like for you?
So, I mean, yeah, my dad was like, I always want one of y'all to be the president of the United States and make Jamaica a part of the United States. He wanted, like, his life dream is for Jamaica to be a state in the United States of America. That shit is crazy. So he's like, you're either going to be a lawyer, doctor, famous for whatever, but that is the end goal, be president of the United States.
So he set a pretty robust goal for you, all, right?
Hell yeah.
So,
he still remind me of that shit to this day.
So where are you at in your campaign aspirations based on the guidance that he gave you?
I'm making it. I'm on my way.
Hey, because we need something. Because I think right now we're in a situation where it's a job opening out there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Dante for president. We running them right now.
Hey, there you go. I just got to turn 35 first.
So now being representing the youth in America during this time period is just not an easy thing, right? There are a lot of challenges that your generation is outfitted with, and my belief is that every generation should solve for a problem, so that way the next generation will have an opportunity in order to be able to take humanity to a higher level, if you would. Now, personally, I think our generation is doing a terrible job of passing the reins over to your generation, which is only creating more work for your generation. And it's not that my generation, I believe, is apathetic. It's just that we had a different set of challenges. Like we had to deal with the Clinton administration, and we had to deal with individuals calling us super predators. We had to deal with education and equity. You know, all of those things that we had to deal with that have been buried in our present. Your generation is dealing with them, and the response that comes from your generation is bananas, right? So what is it like being a member of your generation? You're a millennial, correct?
Yeah.
What is it like being a millennial?
It's tough because there's certain like set of expectations, like you already said, where we're expected to go to college, right? 4 years, find the love of your life in college. Now y'all dating for a few years, you get married, and before 30, you at least want to have a child, right? And it's that set of expectations where it's like, damn, how the hell we gonna do this? We're $150,000 in student loan debt. And God forbid you have any other kind of emergencies, accidents that happen within the family. But this is best case scenario. You're 150,000 in student loan debt. Well, shit. Now jobs out of school nowadays, a lot of them require MBAs, right? So post grad degrees, and then next thing you know, you're another 100,000. Now you $250,000 in debt. What the fuck? How am I supposed to start out my life with this? And enter a relationship where it's only really gonna cause what, more financial burden probably, because you got to wine and dine. You got to court people, right? Nobody wants somebody who's just gonna take them to a coffee shop. Or, hey, you want to come to my crib and just kick it and smoke? How's that gonna last? Like, y'all not really doing much of anything. Y'all not really getting to know each other and gather those experiences, right? So now you're 250,000 in debt. You don't got no lady. What is there supposed to? What are you supposed to do with that, right? So honestly, it's easier to hustle. It's really easy to hustle. And I really think that's what we're seeing a lot of days is dudes out here hustling, minding their business for real. And if they're not, shit, that's where they really want to be. Yeah, so it's really tough. It's really, really tough out here nowadays because it's like, who can you really trust? Everybody really looking for a come up. It's just different ways on how they want to come up.
And I think that's the unfortunate part, because I think every generation faced that. Well, every generation from our community, and when I say our community, I'm more so specifically speaking about Black people, upcoming from, the condition of servitude, slavery, being enslaved or being in bondage, right, created a certain type of ambition, but that ambition, absent the resource, created a need that developed into survival by any means necessary, right? And so now, when you get a generation such as my generation come along, my generation, the first generation, they get an opportunity to do things like talk back and, do certain things. You see what I'm saying? My generation, that first rebellious generation, right? Generation X, right? And we know that in mathematics, X represents the unknown, right? So this is just my personal ideology. I've never been told this or taught this by a philosopher or a teacher, but it's a variable. I believe that our generation, as Generation X or being the unknown, is the first generation. They couldn't really determine what we would become, right? And so since they didn't know what we would become, I believe that, there had been a kind of concerted effort to control the energy of our generation. However, enough of us or individuals like myself made it through, and we reproduced children. And those children, if they couldn't solve for us, if society or those planners, those engineers, those societal engineers couldn't determine what we were going to become, I know that they're petrified of y'all. And y'all children, I know that they're petrified of your children, because the amount of unrest and the things that you can do to see our society unravel and just become disgruntled by basic things. I was talking to my nephew a while ago, and we were watching 12 Years a Slave. And he just looked so uncomfortable, right? And I asked him, I was like, man, what's going on? He said, man, he said, I just feel so scared right now, right? The connection with seeing those images of the past, right, and understanding what the future holds. I'm concerned about y'all generation, because I don't think that we've done enough to establish credibility with y'all generation in order to be able to give y'all guidance in order to get them going in the appropriate direction. You know what I'm saying? So how do we, in the present, what can we do, right, in order to bridge that gap between generations? And I'll say this before I pass it back off to you. I had the pleasure of one day reading an article in the Final Call newspaper by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that said there exists a wobble in nature, and that wobble is the absence of parental guidance in our generation that doesn't extend over into the next generation. It creates a wobble, right? So there's no conduit to appropriately connect our elders to our youth. Right? How do we solve for that problem? What do we have to do as a generation in order to be able to create the bondage or the connection that your generation need in order to survive, or at least experience some of the lessons that we experienced in our generation?
Right. I don't necessarily believe that that we need to connect through experiences, because times are different, man. Like you go to McDonald's nowadays, you try to get McDouble, what, it's $3, some shit like that. Way back when, that shit was what, like 50 cents a quarter. So like it's tough to say that the experiences can really be the same. It's more so about having the conversations. What can we do to help y'all? Lending a hand, the silver spoon, really. You know, my college football coach, he told us a story this one day, and I want to say it was probably during camp or something, like one of them rough days where like you just had a really bad practice as a team, as a unit, and like y'all just needed words to lift y'all up. And he told us this story about there's this place where people go to pass in between, and in between life and death, and they only have spoons as hands, and so they have a huge pot of food. So you got to figure out how you're gonna feed yourself, right? So it's like you have the spoons. How do I get this in my mouth? You try to run it down your arm. It's not gonna work. You might catch a little bit to survive for a little bit, but it's not gonna be enough to survive like long time. So somebody got the bright idea of, hey, you right there, you grab that spoon and you give it to me. I'm like, okay. They went and they fed the other person. It's like, okay, will you feed me? I don't think I will. God came down. You're going to hell. Boom. Now you're back to the drawing board of ideas. It's like, okay, what do we do now? You pick up the spoon. You feed somebody else. You pick up the spoon. They feed. Now everybody's feeding each other. Everybody who's feeding each other, now it's all fruitful. Everybody's going to live. Everybody passes on to heaven. And that's really like the true story. Like, so for one way for our generations to connect, we got to feed each other, man. Like, we have different experiences. Feed each other, like, those stories, those ambitions, your dreams. That way we can understand, we can help you all. Like, that's really what it comes down to, is one hand feeding the other hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, that's profound.
Yeah.
And as you were telling that story, I could visualize it, because, you know, when you can do something for others, when you can serve humanity, me, myself personally, right? I want to strive to be an individual that when I'm in the presence of a youth, I want to be able to do anything in my power to be able to help them, even if that's admonish them. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever want to be afraid to tell somebody in that next generation the hard truth, right? But what I also try to be very careful about is being condescending or demeaning or judging them wherever they are in their experience, because they deserve to have the experiences that's going to set them up for the future. When I look at myself and I look at some of the challenges that I came through, right, being a young man coming from Miami, Florida, growing up in Carol City, dropping out of high school, right, nobody anticipated that I was going to drop out of high school, right? Everybody thought that I was going to college, full ride scholarship. Like, that was my lineage, right? I was destined to go to college on a full ride scholarship. They had no idea, right, that I was not going to school at all. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Hey, one time for Miss Freeman, and y'all know I'm keeping it a buck. Boy, I went to school 30 days my senior year, right? I said I completed my formal education in 1993. However, that didn't serve as a barrier for me, because, like you, I had a father in my life. Even though I came from a broken home, I still had a father in my life. Now, we'll talk about that joker one day. That's the 50 band conversation, right? You don't get Fred Bethel for free out of me, right? You're going to have to pay for that now, right? Because it's so many lessons that came from that. However, having that person in my life that served as that for me, right? He wasn't a beacon of morality, but ethics, right? He was on it. You know what I'm saying? And so for anyone who just missed that, right? There's a difference between, you know, ethical responsibility and moral responsibility. So he was morally absent, but ethically, you know what I'm saying, the man was on it. So he gave me some jewels that allowed me to survive some very, very arduous situations. Right. And so now when you get on the other side of it, for me, as an older guy now, I think about my cohort. I think about the people who didn't have an opportunity to make it, my peers that ain't survived that era, and the individuals who we are left with. Right. Unfortunately, if you have an opportunity to hear these words, stop right now, take a look at yourself and ask yourself, are you real? You see what I'm saying? Because if you just survive, but you ain't real, then why are you wasting your survival time? Be real. You see what I'm saying? Be a man, be a woman when you walk into an environment or a situation. Don't be afraid to speak truth to power. Don't be afraid to love and represent and sacrifice for those individuals that you love. That's what being an elder is about, right? It ain't about running your mouth and talking greasy to a whole bunch of young people, because those individuals who live along that facet, that's why we don't have survivability, because instead of passing those lessons on so that they can make it down to the youth, right? You too busy talking greasy or being envious, right? That's a sickness. That's you foul. You know what I'm saying? And the generation that's coming in back of you, they didn't ask to be. You didn't ask to be here. And you weren't present when your mother and father went into the throes of passion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, but however, you got a blessing because they came through the throes of passion. They remained together.
Yeah.
The majority of people slide off into the throes, right? And then they throw it away, right? And so now that creates another level of dysfunction or difficulty for children who have to acquiesce in this reality. So now we understand where we are. How do we get from here, right? How do we take those lessons? How do we build? What do the future look like for your generation? Because I'm obviously not qualified to be able to say what it should be, because we have done a terrible job of shaping it for you. Yeah. So what do you see for your generation for the future?
Man, I like we kind of touched on a little bit earlier. I really think it starts with having a young leader in office, somebody who more of our people can relate to. Like right now, we can't relate to no 85-year-old man. I'm sorry, but they got 60 years on us, bro. Like that's just kind of deaded. Like I'm not interested in hearing what no 85-year-old man got to say for me, bro. Like they got hella bankruptcies. They got hella scandals going on. Is anybody really clean nowadays? Nah. We're not asking for a pure motherfucker. We ask for a clean motherfucker. Goddamn. Can we get a little bit of that? So I'm looking for somebody like 40, 45, man. Where, they had to struggle too. They really had to struggle too. I don't want somebody who went to Harvard or Yale off of their parents going there, and then their parents paid $100,000 as a donation, but really it's to get their kid in that school, right? They're looking for the business school and all that shit. So it really starts with having that young leader, and I think we'll be all right.
And so now young leaders are good. What does the makeup of that individual look like? Because having a young leader in and of itself is okay, but if that young leader got old money, right, then that young leader might have an old mentality. I was having a conversation with this pastor one day, and he was asking me if I believed in life after the death, right? Or reincarnation or resurrection or something. I told him, oh, that's what it was. He said, do you believe in resurrection? And I was like, yeah, man, I believe in like the mental resurrection. I believe that black people in America are most in need of spiritual and mental resurrection. He said, no, do you believe that after you die, you're going to come back? And I was like, bro, the first time you met me, you seen me, I was with my son. Yeah. That's my new body. Yeah. Right now. Am I worried about coming back? No, I'm not worried about coming back physically. I want to make sure that my mind is transferred into my new body. Yeah. And that's only going to be accomplished by spending time with my son, developing relationships and experience. I ain't worried about coming back. I'm squandering this life. Well, I'm worried about coming back to do it again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's crazy. So being young, I'm saying that to say being young is good, but if that young person is not a young person that really embraces the time period that y'all come from, then you could potentially be being led down that same path. So what do y'all use? What does this generation use to be able to assess an individual character? How do you know when you're dealing with somebody that's real?
Shit. Honestly, if I was being honest, Matt, shit, have you been in a fight? have you had a disagreement where you spit in somebody's face? where you kick somebody's head in? Like, come on, man. Like, for real, like, I want to know about, like, when things were bad, like, how you responded. If you responded that way, then shit, yeah, stand 10 toes. Like if you standing there fighting because somebody was talking shit about your sister, bro, go whoop their ass. Like we don't need nobody sweet for real. Like and we're not really looking for nobody sweet, but we want somebody that's able to relate to some shit like that. Because it's really crazy out here. Somebody will talk about your mom or your sister like this. Yeah.
Hey, it's crazy because see, I when I talk to the youth or when I talk to people these days, I do see more of affection for a Donald Trump-esque leadership type than a Joe Biden leadership type coming out of the youth, right? What's the difference in those two individuals in their leadership style, and which leadership style do you respect?
I say transparency. In true honesty, like it really comes down to transparency. What are you doing every day? What kind of conversations are you having? I mean, everybody know Donald Trump. That man was a keyboard warrior, bro. He was lighting Twitter on fire when he was a president. Yeah, dropping the nuclear codes right now type shit. Hit send. That's what I was most scared about, for real. But I'm like, dang, he finna accidentally copy and paste that shit. Next thing you know, all hell gonna break loose, right? So I think it's really just more so about like communicating with what's going on. Like in the Biden administration, I was having this car ride with my parents recently, and I was like, like honestly, like what has Joe Biden done? Like I'm asking from a place out of curiosity because I don't watch the news anymore, bro. Like I get my news off of like Reddit or Twitter, like all this social media feeds. That's really where I get my world news. And I don't see too much stuff going on with Joe Biden, but goddamn, I'll hear about that Trump rally in Pennsylvania. Like what's going on? He's really promoting this shit. He's pushing like his agenda, whatever. Like I see what he's doing, and I don't see what Biden is doing. That's the real difference: is transparency, communication. You spending them dollars to get your advertisements out there, your words out there, it's gonna pay dividends. So I don't know if it's necessarily like the youth rocking with him more so than it is the youth just seeing him, having that visibility on him,
and just respect them because it ain't about whether or not they voted or not. You know what I'm saying? Because a person vote, that's your business.
Right.
And for anybody who have opportunity to watch this podcast, by the way, click like, subscribe, share with your mama, your grandmama, your auntie. You know what I'm saying? Your uncle and them, right? There are 3 votes, right? There are 3 votes: yay, nay, and abstention, right? So remember that, yay, nay, and abstention, because it always happens around this time of year. Vote, 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 vote. From a bunch of individuals that do not understand the power of a vote or of politics. It'd be best if you just stayed home, you know what I'm saying, and been the Monday morning quarterback, shut up and just chill, right? Because more than likely you're going to make a selection that is going to be disadvantageous to what we're trying to accomplish. Sit home with your vote. Got it. You know what I'm saying? Civil rights, we fought and we died to have the ability to vote. But you shouldn't because you're uninformed. But so that's my opinion. Yay, nay, and abstention, right? You don't need to feel the need to select any individual because my abstention is my selection. My abstention says that neither one of you fit the bill for what I believe is the appropriate leader for the free world, right? That's important. Do it matter who win at that point? Yeah, it matter who win at that point. But at our level, we ain't controlling or influencing it, right? Because all politics start at the local level, and at the local level, you have what I see is that you have the youth more so looking towards that presidential federal type level of control without understanding that the real locus of control is local, right? So the opportunities, the taxes in your city, the zoning, so that way you can create and build business, the things that need to happen at a grassroots level where you can organize and then really get something done so that you can impact your reality. We'll have no idea. We sit around arguing on social media about some stuff that's really just entertainment. Because it's really just entertainment. Donald Trump is an entertainer, and Joe Biden been entertaining for the better part of 50 years, right? So until we can understand that, right, we can't figure out how to use these opportunities in order to create new opportunities, right? So you, relative to this period of this season, what do you recommend for your generation? What do you see?
Man, got to get educated. Like you just said, got to get educated on at the local level. So. Yeah, we have this presidential election coming up this November, but also we're voting on local policies, different things like that. What kind of grants can we get for the youth to build a recreation center, a basketball court, a swimming pool, like places for everybody to connect and get to know each other? Because Jacksonville, man, you know it. It's a melting pot of people. Shit, I just moved down here from Cleveland, Ohio. I ain't even been here a year yet. You moved from Texas. That's how this should go. It's also a huge naval hub. Like you're gonna get everybody from everywhere here. So it's like if we don't take care of what we got at home, we can't worry about the bigger things. We can't worry about those bigger things.
Yeah,
we gotta hammer it here.
Yeah, man. Listen, we're gonna have to get together and we're gonna have to do this again because right at the end is when we brushed up upon. So what's the strategy as we move forward, right? So what we'll do is we're gonna get back at this. We're gonna have to part to it. And so we can talk about the strategy for organizing our youth into viable entities that will give us the ability to be able to be successful, thrive economically, secure the educational realities of our children, and also understand how to prepare for the politics of our next generation. I think that'd be a good idea, something that'd be good for the youth to start to learn about, and we'll bring in some professionals and some experts in order to help us understand it a little bit better. But as we close, you got any last words or any guidance for us?
Shit, man, I always close with the same thing, man. Just be great. That's all we can really ask for. Be great, man. Live every day like it's your last, for real.
Yeah. Hey, and so as we get ready to slide on out of here, I just want to share. Thank you for taking this time to just consider what we have to say, share with somebody, and then take the responsibility serious. You know what I'm saying? Or push back. Drop in comments if you got something to say. You know what I'm saying? But that whatever you say, you're gonna be responded to. And those who know me know I'm gonna respond to you just like the way you asked that ignorant ass question, right? So if you got something to say or you want to be a member or a guest, please inbox us. We look forward to sharing and growing with you all at a grassroots level, and because it's time for us to start to evolve the way that we understand, and we got to realize that we have a responsibility to the outcomes that we will experience as humanity. So with that being said, thank you all. Thank you for your time. We enjoyed you, and we look forward to spending some time with you again.